There is an untapped potential in integrating this kind of agents into existing systems like web apps, websites, mobile apps, or any kind of system. There are several implementations that we can do to help users navigate documentation, make a website accessible and make it manageable by voice, having an appointment center on your website, and much more. Maybe for sites like LinkedIn, users can upload their whole experience just talking, and there are much more use cases out there. To do this, Vapi provides a bunch of SDKs to make our life easier, integrating their AI agent into our existing systems. Today, we're going to dig deeper specifically in the Web SDK to explore the power that AI agents can have and how they can impact in our web apps. We're going to go through how to create a call, how to handle conversational flows, function calls, and even overriding variables with the state of the user in the web app. For example, here, this website is public, so there is no sign up required. That's why we are gathering things like the user email and even the username, so that our agent can have all that context before starting the call. As I said, this is a public accessible agent. That is why we are adding security measures to avoid spam. In this specific case, we're going to save the IP of the caller and make sure they only have some calls available per day. Here we have a middleware in our endpoint. We hit our server and our server gets the IP address. If this caller never has called in the past, we create an object in DB for him. And if he already called us, we are going to make sure that their amount of calls not exceed the max amount of call allowed per day. So here we're validating the IP request.
This is Liam, cold outreach expert. Hi, Thomas. How may I help you today?
Hi, Liam. I'm trying to book a meeting.
Absolutely, Thomas. I can help you with that. Could you please provide me with a few suitable times for the meeting?
Yeah, I want to do Sunday, June 8th, 2025 at 10 a.m.
Thank you for that information. Just to confirm, you would like to schedule a meeting for Sunday, June 8th, 2025 at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Please hold on. Done.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So here we are not only having an agent in our website that actually book calls for us, but also we can grab the tool that he used to make sure that the day, the time, and everything was correct, and the result of the tool that actually the meeting was. This is a very basic example, but what I'm trying to showcase here is that we have access to everything that is actually happening in the call. And that's a very big difference with telephony calls, because here we are having a visual real-time feedback. Let's go to our React file to see how this is happening. Basically, first of all, here we are importing the Vapi SDK. Another good practice is to have the public key. Here we are not going to use our private key because this is going to live on the client side, and we never must save private keys on the client side, not even if they are saved in environment variables. So that's why Vapi gives us a public key. For good practices, I'm also saving that in an environment variable, so it's not visible if someone has the access to the code. And here we have all the agents in our catalog, the amount of statuses of the call. But let's go to the SDK integration. First of all, here, when the user actually enters the email and their name, here we are grabbing that info and saving it in our DB because that's a potential lead. Also, we're going to select the agent on our side so we know which is the agent ID that we want to actually send to the Vapi SDK. Here, this is not actually the implementation of the SDK. This are all the extra steps that we do to ensure security and consistency, like verifying the IP requests to avoid spam. But basically, if we see that the caller has not reached their max amount of calls per day, we're going to start the call. And that is very easy. It's only one line with the assistant ID. And here we're going to override variables that we have in our system prompt with the input of the user. We heard that the agent greeted me with my name, the name that I enter in the form. And that was possible because here we are overriding this variable with the actual name that we capture in the form in our web. So at this point, we are using the Vapi SDK that is an event-driven SDK. So we are going to be receiving callback on each event that is happening in the call. The first one is the call start callback. So basically this runs once the call has started. That's why we are setting the status internally so we can show in the website that the agent is speaking. The same happens when the call ends, so we can remove the active state of the agent. Here is a very interesting thing that we are managing the speech start and the speech end. Basically, that is what we use to show these buttons and actually show that the agent is talking or not. Yeah, maybe you didn't hear that because I have my headphones, but basically when the button moved, that meant that the agent was talking. Then if the agent or anything happened or anything went wrong with the call, here we have this callback with the error details here. And yeah, with only these callbacks, we can handle all the UI and the UX to show the conversation. So with just this simple implementation, we are creating leads in our database. We are taking care of the spam and avoiding abuse in our system. We are personalizing the agent with information that customers said. And another thing is that we already captured their email. Capturing email is a pain in the ass with AI agent. It's very difficult to reliably capture emails. So that's why I added the email in the first modal. So now when the agent tries to actually book a call, we're not going to go to start the back and forth that most of agents have to actually get their email to make the booking. We only need their date and that's all. Everything else we already have. Let's go to the last callback, that is the most general one. Here in the Vapi message callbacks, we have a lot of callbacks, conversation updates, transcript updates. Basically, we have a real-time snapshot of everything that's happening. Here, the tool call and the tool call result, so we can actually show that in real time in the screen and the user can have real-time feedback. This callback shows everything. For example, let's see. Hi Liam, how are you?
Hello, Tomas. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I'm here to share how Agenicler's AI
here
voice.
we're having everything. When the user started, when the user stopped. If the user
It sounds like you're.
if the user make a tool call or anything, we are having a real-time snapshot here. Also, if the user clicks hang up, we are making sure that the call is actually running, and we just run vapi.stop, and that's all. That will hang up the call. Very powerful feature here. This is a really basic example, as I said, but here we are showing how to use all these powerful features, having real-time feedback for the user, overriding variable in the system prompt with the input that the user gave us. And also, this is web-based and this is not happening through a call. We have a lot more information of the customer that we can use to benefit us, to enrich our databases and potentially monetize that information, because we're going to have much more enriched leads, and with more information it's much more easy to sell the right products to the people. So having that said, Vapi is moving really fast and creating a lot of resources to make their technology actually really accessible. So I encourage you to take a look in these SDKs and integrate them into your components. Of course, as always, if you need help with anything, if you want to discuss about this kind of integration, drop a comment below or hop in our Discord server and let's chat over there. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next one.